Welcome to the Fatu Network News Review. Today, 10th January 2019. My name is Omar Wali. We joined the 1994 coup to avoid bloodbath. That is what Captain Suare told the TRRC. Government committed to exhuming more bodies. This Attorney General, Minister of Justice Abubakar Tambedu said, and minor reshuffle at the Minister of Health and Social Welfare. I'll be talking to Fatu Kamara and our Sise about current issues in the country. But before all that, I will start with the papers, and the Standard is reporting that palaver over Faraba trial discontinuation. The announcement by the State House that President Adama Barrow has accepted appeals by the people of Faraba to discontinue the trial of the people connected with June 18th bloodbath riot has drawn sharp criticism around the country, including even near rebuttal from the Minister of Justice. The State House issued a press release that the people appealed to the President to discontinue the trial of the 5 paramilitary officers who were involved in the 18th of June bloodbath in Faraba Banta village. The statement said that the decision by the President was taken in the interest of reconciliation, among other things. However, even before the ink of the statement dried up, Gambians took to the social media denouncing an act of violation of the Constitution, since the President has no powers to stop prosecution in any case. Madi Jobate, a vocal human rights activist, said the President has no authority to discontinue any court case in any way. And we joined the 1994 coup to avoid bloodbath. The retired Captain Amadou Suare has told the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission that if he and his men had not played the right tactics by joining the 1994 coup, rather than taking on the heavily armed soldiers, there would have been a carnage in the country. Testifying before the commission yesterday, Mr. Suare began by discussing the push factors that may have led to the coup by some of the disgruntled officers, among which some officers were not paid their allowances, and there were alleged rampant corruption by the former President Jawara's regime. More minor reshuffle at the Ministry of Health, and the Standard has been reliably informed that 2 senior officials at the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare have been transferred from their position to elsewhere in the ministry. According to their report, Modun Jai, the Director of Health Promotions, has now been moved to the Farafenye to become a regional director in the North Bank region. Another official, Vincent Mendy, has been moved from the project manager to the project coordinating unit to elsewhere. Now official reasons have been given for this development, but a senior official who spoke to the Standard on the condition of anonymity said the matter has to do with some of the administrative differences, all alleged of victimization. Government committed to exhuming more bodies. The Minister of Justice, Abubakar Tambedu, has said the government is committed to establishing the truth about all disappeared victims, and that they will continue to pursue exhumation of individuals buried under sinister circumstances throughout the work of the Truth, Reconciliation and the Reparation Commission, which have now started its public hearing. The minister said this yesterday while handing over the remains of 3 soldiers killed in 30th of December coup plot against former President Yahya Jammeh. Lamin Sane, Njaga Jan, and Alhaji Jaja Nyas remains were handed over to their families. They were killed during a gun battle with the former Presidential Guard Brigade at State House, and families received the remains of victims of December 30th attack. That is the similar story that the 3 men who lost their life during the attack, their remains were handed over to their families for proper and befitting burials. And AG voices concern over President's acceptance to discontinued Faraba trial. Similar story on the Standard, and on the Voice newspaper. Voice also is reporting that Serekunda market toilets closed due to insufficient water supply. A cross-section of people at the Serekunda market have recently expressed their frustration over the closure of the toilet in the market due to the lack of water supply. The toilets were closed on Monday, January 7th due to lack of sufficient water supply, which have affected vendors and shop owners within the market. Ibrahim Aketa, a supervisor of the toilet, told The Voice in an exclusive interview at the Serekunda market on Tuesday. He explained that the toilet tank normally used to be filled with water in the night when the water pressure is high, so that the vendors will use it in the following morning, adding that the toilets were purposely built for the market vendors. And AG describes State House press release as unfortunate, and that is a similar story on the president's decision to discontinue the Faraba case. The Foria is also reporting the remains of December 30th victims handed over to family members. And at the TRRC, I commanded the July 1994 coup d'etat. Captain Suarez said that, Lieutenant Suarez rather, has told the commission that he was commander of the troops that overthrew the PPP government in 1994. That's all we have for you on the papers. I have two people with me here. We'll be discussing about current issues in the country. Fatou Kamara, and I have our sister with me here. Thank you, sir. You know, you caught, I supposed to be enjoying my vacation, but you asked me to.
Omar and his vacation, you know, yeah, he's actually on leave, but then he had to come in today, and we appreciate that. Just to let you all know that Aliou Bah is here, and immediately after this program, he will continue with his real talk with Aliou Bah. But like Omar said, we'll be here to talk about current issues, and I think the first one we should start with is the talk about the TRRC. Omar, if you've been watching, Haruna came out and he said that the Paradise would not be covering proceedings of the TRRC. And if you've been watching, the Fatu Network has also not been there. That is because we were not clear as to what exactly they want. We understand, I actually gave an interview to Paradise TV, and it should be out, I think they said, by 7. But we understand that they were asking for proposals, but we were never contacted. Maybe, I don't know why. But then we were told to get accreditation, which we did. But we think that if they already have a media house that they want to work with, and knowing how much it costs to do everything that we have to do, getting people to go over there, send all our cameras there, and having to pay for internet to do the coverage, and all of that together, it's going to be too expensive to sit there the whole day. And now that they have a company that they paid, we think that they could just stay with that, since it was not open to everybody. And the other problem is we spoke with some of our colleagues, like iAfrica TV, and they explained everything that they're going through. The fact that the feeds that they get, the sound is always not very good, and that they're also forced to use the logo from the QTV. I think that's not right, because a TV and a network cannot advertise for another network, because we all know that when we advertise, you pay for it. So TV, what is it, QCell? QTV is going to be paid, and in addition to that, for all of us who are not paid to do anything, to also advertise for them, that wouldn't make any sense. So I think right now we will all hold on until they make better arrangements, and then we will see what we can do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Recently, you know, you had the president's remark at the State House and some other meet, his recent comment. What do you make of that?
Well, the president's recent, thank you for the invite. The recent comments of the president is indeed, I don't know even how to call it. I think the president should have so much work to do that, being there on the camera weekly, calling on people, telling them that, you know, calling people Dinkurungo. I took first 3 times. I am a president already. Nobody can change that. How did he took first? People voted him to take all those 3 first that he's talking about. Without the support of Gambians, the President Barrow can never be in that State House. So he should be grateful to us, not to himself always bragging, beating his chest. It's all about me, 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 me. It's high time that those people that are advising the president should tell the president that he has so much to do on his decks, that being on television day in, day out, calling out people's names, you know, the Garwalawin people here and there. Some people have tried 20 times to be president and they could not, or 20 years to be president and they could not. That to me, he's talking about Dabo, we all know. And the 30 years is Halifa Sallah, because Halifa Sallah also has been in the struggle for 30 years and they could not become president. But then he has to understand he is a coalition president. He did not come from a party. It's a combination of 7 parties that made him the president. So he should always be grateful to these people and to Gambians, not calling us Dinkurungu. That's the worst I've ever had. The
Okay.
Kurungo, I don't think that's
But what do
nice
you
one.
make of the statements too?
Well, I've been following, and I think I've made my position known. I said on Facebook that when two elephants fight is the ground that suffers. I think right now the Gambians are in kind of like a dilemma because it's very difficult. We have two leaders who will each go to their people when they have their meetings, and they will be throwing shades on each other. I think it's very unnecessary. I think what they need to put into consideration is that Gambia is more important, and Gambia is bigger than both of them. The president, Adama Barrow, he is the president of the country. If he feels that he's not happy with the people in his cabinet or he's being undermined or something, he has a right to change that. And I think if he changes that, the Gambian people will understand. I think that's better than wasting all their time and wasting all their energy, throwing words at each other. It's just not right.
Let's talk about the discontinuation, if I might put it that way, of Faraba incident. So you have seen there is a lot of people fired back at the president, said he doesn't have the powers to discontinue the case. But another question some people are asking, can forgiveness substitute justice?
Well, I think what is happening is just a lack of communication because the Office of the President issued a statement and then the Justice Ministry also issued one trying to kind of protect the president. But if you look at it in a way, they're also trying to distance themselves from it. That kind of like raise eyebrows. So that will show you that this government, there's a communication breakdown. Like they're not communicating to, to discuss these issues. Well, if the president feels that he wants to forgive someone, I don't know how that would work. But also remember that there were people killed, and I think justice should be given a chance. If they went to court and the judgments came out and the people want to forgive, I think that would be a whole different issue. But just I think it's the people of Kombo South, right? They were the people that called on the president, and shortly after that, now they want forgiveness. And I'm reading on social media that there are some parents who are saying they will never forgive. So I think issues like this, it would be very good for the president to consult the Ministry of Justice and make sure that he's on the same page with them. Working in isolation, this is what it brings, confusion. And right now there's a lot of confusion out about this, and a lot of people are going against the president.
We had a similar problem before this Faraba incident. The first was that pedophile who was granted an amnesty was released. And similar thing happened. At the time, the Justice Minister was out of the country. And when he came, there were like push and pull again. So what do you think is the problem?
Lack of communication. That's the problem. The president is the one who appointed the Justice Minister, Batambidu. So if you appoint somebody, you should be able to communicate with them. I don't think it would be difficult to communicate with Ba, but this means, like I said, they're all working in isolation. So what they need to do is to do us, a favor, Gambians, and try to work together. And whatever differences that they have, we're not interested in seeing that. I understand that they're in cabinet today. It's Thursday. So I hope that they will be able to look at each other in the eye and ask each other if they are really working for Gambia or they're working for interest. When I said I stopped fighting, I know why I said that, because in Gambia it's more about fighting for interest than fighting for country.
Have you also stopped fighting?
No, Omar, I have not stopped fighting. I
What
don't
are you
think
fighting
I would stop fighting. Again, talking about the...
She's an activist, so they can fight.
Yeah, talking about the Faraba incident. Okay. If the president can forgive the people of Faraba or just call out the case, I think there is no need that we have the Ministry of Justice. There is no need to have that ministry. We have people who are working there and they are paid on our taxpayers' money and driving our vehicles, going all around day in, day out. Then why should they be there? If the president can just, got up from his office and say, I am done with this case, we should not talk about it anymore, then Batambedu and his department should not be in the Gambia anymore, because they're wasting our resources there.
Another thing someone told me yesterday was that money was spent on this thing. A commission was set up to look into all these issues. Now that they did their findings and recommendations, if the president can forgive these people, should he not extend similar gesture to the Director General of the National Environment Agency and the Geological Department, because they were all penalized because of this? Yeah,
because those people took up guns and killed people. And the National Environment Agency officials, they did not kill anybody. So if they should forgive the paramilitary 5, they should also be able to forgive those. And I understand that they've been put on leave, right, without pay.
6 months without pay.
Then they should come back to work, and also their dues, their salaries should be paid. But again, like I said, this is something that the president needs to discuss with his justice minister and try to make sure that, it works out in the best interest of the people of the country. Because we also don't want the issue of impunity. Like, okay, somebody can just come up and take a gun and kill people, and the next minute they can go to the president because they support his government or they support him and talk to him, and then they are forgiven. I think this is a very sensitive issue that the government needs to seriously look into. We have the Commission of Inquiry that just concluded, and we also have the TRRC coming, which is naming names. Are they all going to be forgiven? If we let this one go, we are setting a precedence.
Absolutely.
So you said you will not stop fighting. What are you fighting for? Or what are you fighting now?
Well, fighting for a better Gambia. Fighting for a better Gambia continues, Omar. There is nothing to stop about in this fighting. Because the reason why we're fighting, we still have not achieved that. We said we want a new Gambia, but there's no new Gambia. Yaya Jammeh used to be doing this. He would be in the State House and then call the GRTS, you know, this thing has to stop, this is not happening, and then calling us names, insulting us. So it's like, it is the same thing that is again happening. So it's like, we are not fighting with anybody. All we want is a new Gambia, a different Gambia, a better Gambia for every Gambian here, not just a section of people enjoying everything and then be like taking decisions anyhow. This is a nation, Omar. It's a country. It's not a home where you can just say, Fatoumata, you're not going out today. You have to stay in, or you have to forgive your brother Ablai. No. We have departments that have to do their work. The president have to allow these departments to do their work and not interfere in what they're supposed to do. That is so wrong. I don't think he's supposed to do that.
I think Omar, like I was said, she is going to continue fighting. They're young and maybe they just started not long ago. We've been fighting for longer than that, 24 hours. And I think I've always said that maybe one mistake we made, I would not even call it, I may not call it a mistake, is, I'm a broadcast journalist, but we were fighting, I turned an activist because of the situation at that time when we were in exile. But now that I am back, we're going to leave the fighting to Awa and you know, Akumaramami, and then we'll be here holding the government to account. Anything that they say that is not in place, we would be out to talk about it, and if there is anything committed, whether it is corruption or some kind of issues, as long as we have evidence. That's very important, because Omar Wali can be drinking his mono in a corner and say, oh, and report it. Media does not work like that. If anybody has evidence, and you have evidence against some of these things that you are saying, please present the evidence to us, and we will make sure that it is out.
Like you said, you have lived the fighting with people like Awa, but Awa was on a campaign, Kodole, but say is silent about it now. They said you have changed now. Your tone has changed. What went wrong?
What they did say that you received a car from Barrow and you received money. Did you receive it?
No, I did not receive it.
Yes, but that was said, right? I mean, this kind of petty talks, I think I'm over that. Because let me just finish.
Okay,
that kind of petty talk, I don't think I want to be doing he said, she said kind of talk.
Why did you stop your campaign?
No, let me finish here. Okay. Because what happened was, we did an investigation. The Kodole, that's a different thing that everybody is confusing. That's activism, and that was ours. That was even never on the Fatu network. What we did was an investigation. We investigated an issue. How many issues did we investigate? It's a whole lot since Yaya Jammeh's time. But all of a sudden, every interest is on one particular investigation, and everybody wants it to continue. Where are you going to take it? We investigated. We know that money was put into the foundation's account. It was $750,000. The money was paid into a GT Bank. From GT Bank, the money was moved to Portugal. The money was put in there by TBA. I'm not a police. I'm not Attorney General. After we find out and get all the information out there, I mean, you can go to court. You can take the issue to court and say, I am Omar Wali. I'm suing my First Lady's foundation. And when everything was done, I spoke to the police. The police said nobody brought the issue there. I spoke to the Attorney General Chambers. They said nobody brought the issue there. Why should it be on me to take that issue, to keep following it? At some point, it will look personal. Okay. Now the money is in Portugal. If anybody wants to go, buy a flight ticket and we go to Portugal. Actually, it was there. Maybe it's moved. I don't know.
Okay. How about it? Because they said you also been...
No, it's not about. I have people saying they've given me 1 million and a Range Rover. This is why I am just silent here and there. But that is Gambia for you. This is not a new thing to me. Okay. When I started this Kodole campaign, Omar, I received insults left, right, and center. Everybody was like, our sister this, our sister that, this girl is silly, she's mad, she's arrogant. And they even went as far as insulting me. Even some people even made t-shirts, caricature saying our sister Drosole. And I never took it personal.
And because they said Kodota.
Yes, and then there are these certain people that said Fatmata, Kodota. Fatmata is our own. You know, we have to support Fatmata, so Fatmata can take the money. Okay, now they have a difference. Omar, I can tell you this. Then they were all in one camp. It was Fatmata is our Fatmata, Barrow is our Barrow. Now Barrow is no more their Barrow and Fatmata is no more their Fatmata. And then they have to again come back to me and then I was say, let's continue the fight.
You're not. No.
Where I was say, Kodole, why did you stop the Kodole campaign? I am a Gambian. It's patriotism. They can also go ahead and then ask Fatmata Kodole. That's not a problem. I did mine. I printed t-shirts and I still have t-shirts. If I want to give out t-shirts, I'll give. But not because they that way are saying Fatmata Kodota or Barrow is our Barrow can make me fight. I'm not anybody's toy. I've not received a dime from the First Lady, and I have no plans of receiving any amount of money from the First Lady. I am a Gambian. I was doing what I was supposed to do. $35 million went missing in the First Lady's account. All I was supposed to do is Fatmata Kodole. You don't expect me, and then I had what I said. Hana yo awas is hamulo wana danga daje ak Fatmata Barrow si flight bi. Hana man suma pa mom plane bi. Man dañ ma jëndal ticket. The plane is not my father's aircraft. We just met in the flight, and then you don't expect me, Omar, to go to a foreign country where 10 or 20 first ladies were gathering and then calling out my first lady thief. What is that? That is not even respect.
No, but let's say if there was no difference between them, and because I remember when I used to, when I traveled to Freetown and take a photo with the First Lady, then everybody would put up the photo of Fatmata Barrow and say, let's support our own. I mean, let's face it. So many hypocrites. And there's something you don't expect anybody to fight your fight because you have an issue. You know how many people in the diaspora now are not talking to me because they said I was going after Barrow and Fatmata Barrow. Now that they have their own issue with them, they want people to come out. I am no, like I was said, I'm nobody's toy. So if you want to fight Omar, get in the ring. Go and fight for yourself.
So you're not going to be another Che Guevara?
No, I'm not fighting for nobody. You fight when the interests come. They will sit in their air-conditioned cars. They're all protecting their family members. Their family members are there.
And they will never resign.
Why don't they tell them to resign? Because let me tell you, this money issue is not only Fatmata Barrow. It is the government and the Gambia. Anybody who is serving there, you know that money is missing and you are still serving there, it is wrong. So before you sit here and base it on journalists for them to fight for you, resign and say, I'm resigning because money came in, I don't understand. Barrow is coming out, garwaling everybody, I don't understand. And then you have your credibility intact. That's it.
So, but as far as you know, the war is over. This fighting is over.
Well, for me, I mean, my fight is different. You know, we are fighting different wars. But what I'm saying, I was fighting against dictatorship, killing people, torturing people. So if you and I want us to fight that, let me go back to exile, and you go back to observer, and everybody goes back to prison, and then we start fighting. But if we have that kind of situation, I'm saying that was my fight, dictatorship. Right now, I don't have to fight 24 hours because now what is there is not the same as what was there. The same method, I said that many times, the method that was used to fight Jammeh cannot work in this one because it's not the same thing. The problems we have here is nepotism, corruption, corruption allegations, because there are a lot of allegations. Nepotism, we have all seen, them putting family members and friends in all the positions. That's what is in this government. But they're not killing people and they're not out there, you know, torturing and stuff at the NIA daily.
Let's talk about advisors. We have plenty of advisors, but you look at what is happening at State House. It seems like they are not effective, if I may put it that way. What do you think?
Omar, we have plenty of people in the State House, not advisors, because you don't call them advisors. I don't think a president with a good advisor, you know, would be there and then calling out people dinkurumo. No. A good advisor would not advise a president to insult his people. One. And again, you know, these advisors are just there for their pockets. Because I watched a video of this, I think it's a Yara video. This person was like, you know, Ibrahima Cisse is the secretary to cabinet, Fatou Cisse is this, and I am also that. So if you people are not satisfied of these three positions coming from one village, then you will never be satisfied with the president. We can get anything that we want from him. You know, it's not like that. This is a country. It's not about family issue, like you have to give this, and then we have to support you. No, it's not like that. I don't call these people advisors. If they are to, they need to, you know, sit down again, check themselves properly. They are not being fair to us. No. They are not being fair to Gambians. They need to sit down, discuss between themselves, and know that it is not working right. There is nothing working right here. 2 complete years. I've not seen a complete project that you can say the president has done. Unless about this bridge that they are talking about. He's just laying foundations. And with laying of these foundations, you will have a whole lot of 10 to 20 vehicles just to lay a single foundation. When will these projects be completed, or when will they be implemented? These advisors should do themselves good, call a meeting on themselves, talk to themselves, and know that they are in the State House, but they are not doing us fair. They are not advising the president on issues that are affecting the Gambians. No.
You see, but this is where I have a problem with many people. Okay, everybody knows. I do not know Barrow. I only saw him in Freetown, and that was it. But we cannot put all this blame on him and say it is the president. It is true he's the bus driver. It is true that he's the head who is there. But these other people, they're all waking up in the morning, Omar, and going to work. When I was working at, for instance, GRTS and US Embassy, it got to a point where I think that what I was doing, I don't like it, or where I am, I didn't like it. What I did was to resign. But right now, that blame that you're talking about, it shelters on the shoulder of all of them. All of them, they're all the reason why we're having this. Because if one of them want to make a difference, or two of them, it would have been different. An advisor, you advise President Barrow and he didn't listen to you. The next morning, you don't come to work. The second advisor, you talk to him, he didn't listen. You don't come to work. Okay. One minister, he's talking to you something that you don't like, resign. Then we will know there is a problem. But if everybody is sitting in there, and, you know, like they used to tell us during Jama time, when you were enjoying, you were not talking. Yeah. I think that is coming back. I always tell you, I was born on first day of Ramadan. Yeah. All the things, the bad things they were doing to me, see, they're repeating himself. And he's going to the same people who were accusing us of that. So I can also comfortably say now, when they're enjoying, everybody's quiet. They're not talking and they're not resigning.
The concern among many people has to do with the political vocabulary coming from State House.
Yes.
They said if these people were the salt, maybe has with that word there, the advisors, such things will not be happening. Do you think that is the case?
But that's why I said they should leave. Omar, if I'm your advisor, I advise you, you don't listen to me. I advise you again, you don't listen to me. I would not look at the Pajero and all this free gas. I would leave. And then people would come out and say, definitely Omar is advising, but Barrow is not listening. At some point, Omar even left. But they're still there. I mean, if the president is speaking like this, and we all know that he should not be speaking in those kind of tones. I mean, it's not right. You know, you are the president. Before you go and shout and, you know, raise your hand up like that, you have something that you don't like. I mean, get rid of that.
And again,
that's what I'm saying.
Who voted for 10 advisors? Who voted for 20, 30 advisors in just one building, just to advise one person? And until now, nothing is fixed. We voted for President Barrow to come and fix a broken country, not to get us advisors and be paying them salaries for no reason.
No, that is to get all of them in. You know, I think it is.
But then again, Fatou, what do you do with 10 advisors and still things are not going right?
That's the nepotism. So, because there are people out there that they want to fit all of them in. So it's just like when you want to bring people, you just create stuff. I can say, oh, okay, now director of editing, director of this, even if you don't need it, just to make sure that you bring all those people. So that's why I said, I've always been saying this, Barrow has to take charge. Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. Absolutely. Barrow has to stand up and say, wait, I am the democratically elected president. Yes, it's a coalition government. Yes, everybody voted to put me in. Yes, everybody supported me to be president. But at the end of the day, he has to make tough decisions. Absolutely. If he cannot make that, you know, we're already in 2019. Mm-hmm. Election is 2021, and we're hearing that he wants to contest as well. You know, that's that's going around. But if that happens with the situation like this, Omar, no, it's not going to work for him.
No.
Okay. Talking about the advisors and some let's talk about, well, we dealt on more on the TRRC also. Do you have any concern with it? Because some also are saying it's like another commission of Jammeh Commission, people implicating. Omar Wali said Fatou Camara this. Yeah. Fatou Camara said Omar Wali this.
You know, the TRRC, in fact, I should be on Al Jazeera Monday, I think, for an interview on stream. I got the email yesterday. The TRRC would have been very good if it had come at the time when things were really hot, when Gambia was out there, everybody was talking about the country. I understand that lives were lost, and I'm sorry to the families of those people. I know they want closure as well. But I think what will be more important is if they could help those victims, you know, the ones who need treatment, get them treatment, the people who die and leave young families, get them to school. But starting this all over again, 2 years after we moved on, I had issues with some of the people in the government. But right now, if you see me and then we're all talking together, we're all back to normal. So now you're taking us back again to those painful days. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I just saw today on Facebook that somebody mentioned Kejau Toure, you know, and everyone is like, oh, Kejau, oh, Kejau. So it's going to go on like that. And I think definitely they should we have enough trauma. Gambians, like Banking Agency will always say, we need a nationwide, because, we're all traumatized. I think they should definitely, if this did not start in the beginning, right now, I think it's a bit late. It's just going to bring more confusion. Do we have enough security? If I hear our Sise was the one who slapped my mother, or did this army want to attack our? So where would that take us?
Omar, talking about the TRCC, I don't want to go deep into this TRCC thing because, you know, but then I was speaking to a friend yesterday at home and I was like, if I were, you know, part of those people doing this TRCC stuff. We all know.
TRRC, not TRCC.
TRRC.
Let me put error of emphasis.
TRRC.
Okay.
We all know the victims. We all know those that lost their people. We all know those that were killed, those that were raped. And I don't think anything would be said at the TRRC that have not been said on the online radios.
Yes.
You know, on social media websites, on WhatsApp groups, on Freedom, on Fatu Network, on all these social media platforms. Everything that they have been saying there, it's been repeated. Because this Chongan, the first time that I saw Chongan, I've listened to Chongan on Freedom Radio many a times talking about the same thing here. So there is nothing new that they're talking about here. So I think all they need to do is then to call on the victims and then compensate them. They all know how to do this. They all know how to. They don't need to, you know, keep the whole time on this TRRC thing, just like the commission, which is never ended. So it's just going to cost us more resources and then more time. And then when will we move on? By the time we're done with this TRCC, it's already 2 years again. And it will just be an ongoing thing, ongoing. We need to move on. We have so many things to concentrate on.
Okay, finally, Fatu, before I wrap up.
Well, I think it is very important for Gambians to know that what we should all fight for and what we should all fight against is all the wrong things that are for the country. It should not be about self. Okay. We have to always put ourselves behind this. When we were fighting to get rid of dictatorship in this country, it was everybody. We all fought together. But now I will fight, but then when it comes to Omar Wali, because Omar Wali, I like Omar, it will be a problem. Don't criticize Omar. But if I want to criticize Awa, because you have a problem with Awa, you want me to continue non-stop. Nobody is nobody's little dog here. We are fighting for country. We are not fighting for interests. We are not fighting for individual. So I think it's very important for people to know that let us put country first, because at the end of the day, it is Gambia that matters. Barrow's presidency will end one day. Even the president who's not even here, his will also end one day, and Gambia would remain. So the fight should be about country. It should not be about personal interest. And right now, we are not in the time of politics. We have a president who is here. Let's allow him to work with members of his cabinet. All of you, join him and work with him. If you feel that he's not going right or what he's doing is wrong, please remove yourself from it. That way we know the problem is not the people in cabinet. The problem is one person, and that is the president. If you don't do that until now, I believe all of them, Omar Wali, failed us.
Finally.
Finally, Omar, what I have to tell Gambian is let's be genuine. You know, let's not be calling each other's name for no reason. When I started this Kodole campaign, there is nothing that I have not had. We will produce your this. You know, they even have to go to my dad, you know, reporting me to my dad and doing everything. Fatmata is our Fatmata. We are celebrating our own. I call it hypocrisy. Let's be genuine Gambian. This is a nation thing. It's not about I'm fighting for Sisekunda or I want them to give me something or I want this position. I am fighting because because of the Gambia that we want. We want a better Gambia for everybody. Not just for the ministers and the directors and the others. You know, we want a Gambia that where I will be comfortable, you will be comfortable, and this other person will be comfortable. So Gambians, let's be genuine. Let's be genuine. The hypocrisy is not taking us anywhere. Fatmata Barrow was your Fatmata Barrow. The next minute he is no more yours. Barrow is our Barrow. The next minute he is not your Barrow anymore. Until when are we going to be genuine and then, you know, work towards a better Gambia? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Fatu, and thank.
When are we asking you questions?
What questions?
No, but you said you got a car from Barrow and what, 1 million.
I got a car. It's still there. I don't even drive it. I don't even go and take it.
You're 1 million. You're 1 million.
You know, I got a car. It's still parked. I don't even go and collect that
That's
car.
the one Barrow gave you.
No.
And somebody also wrote here that you are now PPP.
Oh no, me, I'm Jawara, not PPP. No, I'm Jawara, I'm Jawara, not PPP.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Aliou Bah is coming up next.
All right, so viewers. Yeah. That's all we have for you today. Thank you so much. Till next week. Fatu is going to continue with the news review.
No, I'm not going to.
Whilst I enjoy my vacation.
Well, I'm going to be very busy, so Omar will continue. Well, thank you all very much for your time. Aliou Bah is coming next.